For the longest time, I've wanted a Baryonyx in 1:35 to match up with my PNSO Suchomimus. Halonggu did give us one, for which I'm grateful, but somehow that always seemed to be lacking. But now, PNSO has offered one, and I'm excited to see how it pairs up with their Suchomimus. The genus name Baryonyx means heavy claw and comes from ancient Greek varis, which means heavy, and onyx, meaning claw. So the dinosaur is named after that one feature, and we'll see how well the name is born when we have a closer look later. Now, Baryonyx has been estimated to be between 7.5 to 10 meters, or 24.6 to almost 33 feet, so it's quite a range. This model is approximately 25.5 centimeters or 10 inches, and so it can in fact be 1:35 for an 8.9 meter animal. And here's the Wonder Artistic Model's 1:35 humanoid. The overall color is rather flashy, and if you're used to something a bit more subtle and complex, you might not like this. Still, I wouldn't say it's dabbed on, and the transitions are still quite smooth. So let's take a closer look, starting with, as always, the head. The shape is as you'd expect for a spinosaurid. The detail is to be expected. I like the very dark, forbidding color scheme here, an almost black snout that fades up into the head, before transitioning into the neck down here, where you can see that brilliant splash of orange. The eyes are beautifully painted. You see the golden sclera with the very round black pupil. The scales are minute and exquisite. The jaw articulates, but unfortunately there's that question of whether or not it will close perfectly, and the answer here is it does not. Which is sad, because it would be nice to see how the rosette fits into the subnarial gap. Still, it captures the very slender, very long snout that's characteristic of the spinosaurids. And I'm glad to see the nari's position isn't too retracted, positioned behind the premaxillary teeth, but still quite near the front of the maxilla. Inside, you have the wet oral tissue. The crest isn't accented in any exciting way, which is a disappointment for me, especially in light of what PNSO did for Suchomimus. So, a once over of the head, and here's where you'll better appreciate PNSO's refined sculpting of the dinosaur integument, which PNSO is justly known for. The neck is more robust than in the Halonggu, so it's nice to see. Now moving down, we have the body proper. Now about the color. This orange streak is a rather surprising splash of color, though I would like to have seen this up in the crest. Now here in the shoulder girdle is one of my favorite regions for sculpted detail. You can see it doesn't disappoint. Just look at the muscle separation here. Down the forearm, and then going into the hand. Now, a puzzling choice I've seen is when companies making dinosaurs with enlarged thumb claws forego the feature completely. You'd think that companies would want to exaggerate it, and Baryonyx literally means heavy claw. So while it's maybe marginally larger, it's not obviously, and certainly not dramatically larger. To give you an idea of the claw, this is what we're talking about. And I don't feel that translated here. In this area, the Safari Baryonyx, I feel, captures the idea better. The powerful thighs, very nice musculature delineated here as always, complemented by the kind of scalation you expect from PNSO. Then going into the feet, always very pleasingly rendered. Let's look at the scutes. The details brought out by a brushing as we've seen in other models. The fade here, and then going down into the black here is very pleasing. We finish off with the tail. And here's where I thought it'd be interesting to talk a bit about the torso. Have a look at the PNSO suchomimus, specifically just get an impression of the form, especially the slenderness around the torso, especially evident when you look from the front here. That's missing in the Baryonyx. Now the same thing compared to the Sinopliosaurus, with a kind of almost lateral compression. In today's Baryonyx, there's a thickness and almost a rotundity you don't expect. Now this is how megalosauroids tend to be reconstructed, and in fact PNSO has been pretty good about consistency in this area. Even the very small namesake of the group, Megalosaurus here. But you don't get that here. In fact, it's more akin to the Saurophaganax. Saurophaganax, you may recall, belongs to Allosauridia, which according to some experts is completely separate. And with that, it seems to be the best place to transition into the comparisons. First, let's go back a bit and compare this to the Haolonggu Baryonyx. Overall, I think the PNSO blows the Haolonggu away. In things like the more correct position of the nares, the more pleasing form of the rosette and the subnarial gap, and the too slender neck of the Haolonggu. PNSO comes up on top here. However, does have points in its favor. 好龙骨 better captures that heavy claw. I mean, it literally is the name of the dinosaur. Then here's the other Baryonyx, the PNSO Suchomimus. It's nice to see this pair in the same aesthetic by PNSO. In the skin detail, here's the very controversial PNSO Sinopliosaurus. In case you only have this version, here's the older PNSO Spinosaurus. And of course, the new 1:35 PNSO Spinosaurus, which I believe I didn't have when I reviewed the 好龙骨 Baryonyx. What a beauty this is! And speaking of beauties, here's the Dino Hazard Irritator, one of my favorite dinosaur models, though I wish it was a bit smaller. And on wishes, I also wish they'll one day do another dinosaur. Here's the PNSO Megalosaurus, the namesake of the whole clade. Now the contemporaneous Iguanodon from PNSO. And just for the heck of it, the PNSO Saurophaganax. And finally, size comparators, the Wilson and the Cameron T-Rex. Last time, we had Tyranotitan completing the PNSO Carcharodontosaurids, and now in Baryonyx we have the Spinosaurids being fleshed out. The similar aesthetics in the same clade makes for a wonderful visual presentation. Now one other Spinosaurid that would be sufficiently interesting for me, an Ichthyovenator. On a more macro level, in giving us more Spinosaurids, PNSO seems to be working on Megalosauroidea now, after Allosauroids and Tyrannosauroids. If so, I hope they keep the same torso form for consistency, and I look forward to more from PNSO. Still the OG in many ways, and so worthy of respect. Let's see what their next offering will be. I'll see you in the next video.